Do not misunderstand these two essential keys for creating and shaping your life: gratitude and ownership. Hey guys, how's it going? This is James Tripp with a video for James Tripp Chaos Wave. I want to look in this video at two keys. They're two things that you can do. This is an exercise, by the way. When I'm talking about keys here, I'm not talking about abstract concepts. I'm talking about two things that you can do that are going to increase your power, your capacity to start shaping your life. These are two things you can do every single day, every morning. Most people won't do them, they don't do them, but you can do them and they will make a difference. And they are cultivating both a practice of gratitude and a practice of ownership, consciously owning your choices and your power in your life. Now, I'll start with the first. I've called this video "Don't Misunderstand These Things." Most people never even think about ownership, but the whole attitude of gratitude thing, that's out there, that's in the popular consciousness. A lot of people have heard this term. Sometimes they use it as a sort of throwaway line. But I think it's something that can be misunderstood, has got a few subtleties in it that are worth unpacking. Now, I'll say why I'm making this video, because this morning I was sat here with my magic book. I use this book for realization statements, a kind of a deep personal coaching that I do that's about shaping how I perceive myself and how I perceive the world. It's a way of my transcendent self, the top cultivated part of my brain, coaching the deeper parts of my brain that I'm going to live from spontaneously in my life. So this is part of my daily practice, is doing this kind of deep self-coaching. Now, there's a few things I do in this, but one of the things is taking a moment in the morning to write down 3 things that I have gratitude for and 3 things that I take ownership for. And these are important things. So people have heard of the attitude of gratitude, and it is a powerful thing. But I think where people misunderstand it or misuse it is it can sometimes push people into a very passive position in life if they use this on its own, if they use this only. And I want to highlight this so anyone out there who engages in practices like this doesn't fall for these traps. So let's talk about attitude of gratitude or gratitude practice first of all. There's 2 ways you can look at this. Some people hold a very metaphysical view of this, that by being thankful for what the universe provides, the universe will continue to provide more. And if you are not thankful for what the universe provides, then the universe doesn't provide more. So this is a very metaphysical description of it. I'm a less metaphysical kind of a guy, so I'm more interested in personal psychology. What I tend to find is by engaging in a gratitude practice, it shifts my state of mind, it elevates my state of mind, it moves me into what I would call a high vibration state, which transforms my engagement with the world, transforms my productivity. I tend to move towards things. I tend to come from a more generative place because of the shift in my personal psychology. So no metaphysical strangeness required with that. But because I look at it from a personal psychology perspective, there are a few nuances that I want to get in the mix to make sure it works, and it works well. So the first thing here is I don't make statements when I write them out in my magic book. I don't make statements like "I am grateful for," right? I do not frame statements in that way. And I will tell you why I don't do it. Because there's a sort of a meme in our culture, something deeply embedded in our culture, where the term grateful on an identity level, you should be grateful, it usually comes with a should. So often people have heard this, maybe leveled directly at them or being used around them. You should be grateful for, you should be grateful for, you should be grateful for. And that kind of gratitude formulation, not only does it put this should thing on, which is generally a noxious thing. Should is usually a marker of arguments with reality and struggle, not a thing I want to bring in the mix. But it's also a disempowering position. I should be grateful for, I should be grateful. I'm small and weak and the power's all out there and I need to be grateful for what it gives me. So I think that if we use a gratitude practice in this way, it can be weakening. So And this is not an absolute thing, by the way. People who've got self-hypnosis and personal alchemy know how I use felt sense to personally tune my own mantras and my own self-coaching work, but I'm not going to go into that too deeply here. So what I tend to do is, instead of saying I am grateful for, I put the statement down, I have gratitude for. I have gratitude for. When I check in on my own felt sense, it's a more empowering formulation, and that's all I need to know in terms of managing my personal psychology. That's all I need to know to go with that formulation. I'm not going to intellectually justify it, although I'm sure I could build a case for it if I wanted to. So I'm going to make a statement that says I have gratitude for. So this is the first thing. The second thing is I want to have gratitude only for things that come from around me, so to speak. Now, let me explain what I mean by that. One of my major frames is the creation frame. I like to be in the driving seat of my life, so I want to connect with the differences that I make. This is where ownership comes in, which we're going to talk about in a moment. But I'm aware that some people say you create your reality, right? I don't really believe that. I believe that you co-create your reality. I believe all creation is co-creation. So if a potter makes a pot, they throw a pot on the wheel. Yeah, we could say they created it, but they actually created it in conjunction with clay. They needed to have clay. Clay has certain properties that they cannot argue with, they cannot deny. They have to align with those properties in order to create with clay. So a potter might make a pot. They created that pot with the clay. Okay? So if we're going to live our lives as creators, we're going to get in the driving seat of our lives, we have to recognize that there is a reality out there, right? This is my personal belief. There is a reality out there. It does work in a particular way. We want to align ourselves with how it works so that we can create with it. So there are events out there that are beyond our control. In fact, most in life is beyond our control. We have influence with it, but we don't get to control it. So all creation is co-creation, right? We create with our circumstances. So when there are things out there that are beyond my immediate influence, I'm going to count them as circumstances. That's what I want to have gratitude for. Okay? So I might have a gratitude statement that says something like, I am grateful for the fact that we live in a city of abundance. Now, I could argue that I chose to live here, but right now I live here. This is a thing. Much of the abundance of the city that I live in is inherent in the city. It was here before I came here, right? So that's something I can be grateful for. I can have gratitude towards. So I want to have gratitude towards these things. I might have gratitude for circumstances in my past that have led me on this path. So it's having gratitude for these things that are out there in the world. On the flip side of that, I also want to make sure I connect with my side of the creation equation. And this is where having an ownership practice in conjunction with a gratitude practice is very, very powerful. So in the morning, I'm going to find 3 things that I'm grateful for, but I don't want to be grateful for something that I was directly involved in making happen, right? Or something that's about my personal power. So whilst I could say I'm grateful for my ability to learn and develop, I would prefer to put that in the ownership category. So I would say I take ownership of my choices in learning and developing myself, right? So now I'm moving over to my side of the creation equation, right? I want to acknowledge what's out there, what I can create with, but I want to connect to my power to create. So alongside the gratitude, I'm going to do 3 gratitude statements, but I'm going to do 3 ownership statements. Okay, so it might be something that's come off well recently. Let's say I've just done a deal recently that's come off well. I'm going to say I own my role in creating that outcome. Right? I own my role in that deal coming off well. I own my role in So I want to take ownership. I own my capacity and my capability to make differences in these situations, that kind of thing. So these two practices, they work psychologically in different ways, but when they work together, they work powerfully to set you up and start transforming your deep core self. Because as people know here, I work on the be, do, have model. You know, the results you get in life come about as a result of your habitual engagement. So the have comes from the do, but the do comes from the be. And the be is this is your core personal psychology. So I want to make sure, and these are just two practices that I use in working with my own core psychology to transform my deep psychology. That's the being level. So I transform my habitual engagements with life. So I transform the results that I get. In the previous video I put out, I talked about wealth and prosperity. Those are the results I'm interested in getting, wealth and prosperity. How do I get there? I want to track back to the beginning, the B stuff. That's why I have my Magic Realizations book. What am I making real in myself at that being level? So, I just say quickly, actually right now, if you like this video, hit the like on this video. I'll say a bit more about subscribing to the channel at the end. But you could do that now. You could subscribe, hit the notifications bell. I do want to say about Power of 8 2.0. This is probably the last video I'm going to put out before applications close. I've had some fantastic applications. I'll be interviewing everybody to see that they're a good fit for the group. Power of 8 2.0 is a 6-month coaching group. It is for you if you are interested in upping your game as a creator of your own life, upping your capabilities of creating wealth, prosperity, and personal fulfillment in your life. These are the main things. It's about independent life path creators. It's for independent life path creators. It is for you if you wish to up your game as an independent life path creator. That's all I need to say. So if you like the video, once again, hit the thumbs up on the video. If you subscribe to the channel, you will get more deep knowledge on using your mind to shape your life. Hit the notifications bell as well. And if you have any questions about this, any comments, any feedback, make use of that comment section below, because that way the conversation can continue. And until it does, keep on using your mind to shape your life.